Last week we talked about men being from Mars and women being from Venus. We talked about what men's and women's greatest needs are in a marriage. And if you missed that, go back to the video archives and watch them. Barbara and I have been married for 43 years. Our marriage isn't perfect. We've had our ups and downs. We've had our share of disagreements and fights. But our marriage is strong and it stood the test of time because we train and practice, not just try. There are a lot of things we practice in our relationship to make it successful. And here's a few I want to share with you. One thing that's helped us is to practice and train to meet each other's greatest needs. And if you're not doing that in your marriage, you're going to have a sick heart from deferred hope. 2, learn to communicate with each other. Communication. It's so important in a marriage. You have to have meaningful communication. You have to be willing to be vulnerable with each other. Talk about what's bothering you. Talk about what needs aren't being met. Talk about how to improve the relationship. 3, designate a family altar or a prayer time in your relationship. You've no doubt heard the expression, the family that prays together stays together. In fact, social scientists today have even discovered the importance of a family being together for dinner. If a family has dinner together, there's less likelihood for problems outside the home with the children. How much more so for the family that prays together? But it's important a husband and wife find time consistently, pray together, read the Word of God together. I've used this illustration before, but envision a triangle with me. The husband's at the left-hand bottom of the triangle, the wife's at the right-hand bottom of the triangle, and God's at the top of the triangle. Well, the closer the husband and wife move towards God, towards the top of the triangle, the closer they automatically get to each other. It can't fail. The fourth and last thing I want to share with you today is this. Never let the sun go down on your wrath. There's always going to be disagreements. You're going to have verbal fights, some worse than others. Barbara and I have not been immune from those, but we've made each other a promise when we very first got married, and that was that we were not going to let the sun go down on our anger. So what does that mean? It means no matter how big the fight, no matter how big the disagreement, we were not going to go to bed that night until we resolved the conflict. To be candid, we had some nights where we stayed up into the early morning hours, but we never let one day pass into the next without resolving the conflict. I believe these 4 principles will go a long way to building a strong marriage for you. Number 1, practice meeting each other's greatest needs. 2, communicate with each other. 3, pray together, read the Word together. 4, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Tomorrow I'm going to continue this series as we talk about building a strong family foundation and relationship with our children. I hope you'll join me.